A very good evening to you, our dear viewer. Once again, this is News Tonight to bring you what's making headlines. My name is Patricia Lukoma Mpango, and straight away into the bulletin. President Yoweri Museveni has rallied member countries under the Regional Ministerial Forum on Migration to harmonize migration systems that protect the region's population while enhancing skilled human resource development. The president was represented by the vice president, retired Major Jessica Alupo, at the closure of the 7th Regional Ministerial Forum on Migration 2026 in Kampala.
The week-long Regional Ministerial Forum on Migration focused on harmonizing labor migration policies in East and the Horn of Africa has come to a close, with the United Republic of Tanzania assuming chairmanship from Uganda. President Yoweri Museveni, represented by Vice President Major retired Jessica Alupo, called upon member states to develop coordinated and harmonized migration policies.
By working together, we improve skills matching, strengthen recruitment systems, and enhance cooperation with destination countries, and we can build migration systems that are fair, predictable, and beneficial for migrants, their families, and our economies. Most importantly, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to emphasize that the issue of providing consular support to migrant workers is not negotiable, and I call upon ministries of foreign affairs.
The president urged regional leaders to prioritize investment in human resource development and the creation of domestic employment opportunities.
Uganda remains committed to the collaborative approach espoused under RMFM of acting as one region while negotiating bilateral labor migration agreements, sharing consular support, common standardization of employment contracts, skills partnerships, promoting ethical recruitment, job creation and youth employment, etc.
Member countries committed to upholding the dignity of migrant workers through bilateral agreements and collective negotiation with destination countries.
There is need to work together as East and Horn of Africa and also synchronize labor mobility issues. As a region, we need to add value to our human capacity by setting skilling training centers that train and retain skilled labor for migrant workers. This is going to be destination countries.
Countries in East and the Horn of Africa have been encouraged to streamline intra-regional labor movement and fully exploit local opportunities before seeking employment overseas.
I wish to underline the importance of strengthening intra-African labor mobility through the conclusion and effective implementation of bilateral labor migration agreements, BLMAs, among our members. Such agreements are not only tools for managing migration, they are strategic instruments for promoting brain circulation within the continent and beyond, enabling skills to move where they are most needed while fostering knowledge exchange, innovation, and shared prosperity.
The International Organization for Migration recommended strengthening protection mechanisms, upholding human rights, and ensuring the safety of labor migration through monitoring of irregular cross-border routes.
These steps can deepen regional integration and shape labor migration in ways that works for the people and economy, especially in and around the informal sector, which generates about 3 million jobs for 12 million young Africans each year.
The 7th Regional Ministerial Forum on Migration 2026 was held under the theme Expanding Regular Labor Migration Channels to Promote Skills Mobility, Decent Employment and Safe Alternatives to Irregular Migration. Abdunasele Lubwama for UBC.
Now, the National Resistance Movement Caucus meeting has resolved to support the budget priorities for financial year 2026-2027 that includes roads, railway, AFCON 2027, salary enhancement for primary teachers and secondary arts teachers. And then while addressing a press conference at Parliament, the government chief whip, Hamson Oboa, said after receiving guidance from His Excellency President Yoweri Museveni, they also resolved to supporting the National Sovereignty Bill that seeks to regulate foreign financial inflow.
I resolve to 1. Support the budget priorities of financial year 2026-2027, covering peace, roads, electricity, railway, AFCON 2027, scientific innovations, restocking, TESO, Lango, Acholi, salary announcement for primary school teachers, secondary school arts teachers, BITVET staff, and security personnel. 2, to support the passing into law of the proposed Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2025 when introduced in Parliament. The proposed bill seeks to regulate foreign financial inflows. Those inflows coming into Uganda must be for legitimate reasons and not harmful reasons.
Total resource envelope, there is a movement from 72.376 trillion of financial year 2025-2026 to now 84.206 trillion. This is about 11.6 trillion. Why are we doing this? We want to take care of the priorities, but in a phased manner. This financial year we have provided 25%. We will be providing 25% until when we get to the level where other science teachers are. And also in the primary category, we are providing 25%. We want to increase their salary to 100%, but we want to achieve this in 4 years because the total is about 2.5 trillion shillings, and now we have been able to provide 550 billion this year.
Now, away from Parliament, following the annulment of a section of various contentious provisions of the 2022 Computer Misuse Act, as amended in 2023 by the Constitutional Court on grounds of violation of human rights, the government has now taken a step where it intends to revise the said anomalies in the Act. Now, this, according to the Minister in charge of Information and National Guidance, Godfrey Kibirango, he says this will strengthen the legislation.
On 17th March 2026, the Constitutional Court of Uganda pronounced a section of provisions in the 2023 Computer Misuse Act null and void, a move which threw a section of members of the general public into celebrations.
Misinformation and disinformation is becoming a very, very big problem in this country.
However, the government seems not to be relating as it takes steps to amend the anomalies.
But Attorney General has told us we are going to come up with still another law, so that one people shouldn't celebrate. We are going to come up with another law.
By taking this route, government insists that the scars inflicted by misinformation are painful and therefore safeguards are not optional but mandatory.
Technology improvement, and mainly digital, the digital ecosystem becoming more sophisticated. But we are fighting it in some few ways. One, the laws. We are going to strengthen the laws because if you look at the Computer Misuse Act, even forwarding such information was also has been a crime. So that's one way we are going to fight it. But we are also going to improve our technology. We are making a lot of improvement in technology.
Kibirango shaves off the talk of narrowing the communication gap, saying critics want to hide behind freedom of expression, putting it ahead of the wider intention.
You know, people think free expression of speech, misinformation and disinformation is one of them. Not at all. Freedom of speech, freedom of expression means you should express yourself in a civilized way. And you should give correct information. But every time we say, please, don't saturate, and because why should you saturate malicious information? Others think by that we don't want them to criticize government. No, you can criticize government. We have had several criticisms. And that's why we have put in place institutions like GCIC, like that the media center. You criticize us objectively, we shall come and answer you. But that doesn't mean you should abuse the president, that you should abuse the first family, that you should abuse a minister because you think that you are criticizing what? Government. Not at all.
According to Minister Godfrey Kibirango, this move doesn't leave Uganda to operate in isolation.
Most of the countries, some of the advanced countries have that technology. For instance, in Dubai, you can't just send any information. The United Arab Emirates. That's why you meet even these wars this war, Iran-Israel war. There is limited information that you can get because they know how to detect.
Robert Onyango, UBC News.
Well, thank you very much there, Robert. Now the National Consultative Forum has passed a resolution calling for all political parties that qualify to participate in the inter-party organization IPOD for dialogue to receive funding to support their political activities.
Memorandum of understanding.
The resolution was reached during a high-level meeting that brought together secretary generals from various political parties. Chiwanda noted that allocating funds to qualifying political parties will enable them to effectively run their activities and participate in democratic processes.
Also resolved as the political parties that the funding of political parties should be made uniform. Even those political parties that are not represented in parliament should be funded, because the funding for these parties shall help them to run as political parties.
The exclusion follows amendments to the Political Parties and Organizations Act, which now requires political parties to actively participate in IPOD activities to qualify for government funding.
Under the umbrella of the IPOD, there is monies that are given by government to these political parties, depending on the numerical strength of these political parties. So our resolution is that these monies should be given to these parties without conditions of MOUs and all that, as long as a party qualifies to be a member of the IPOD.
The chairman, National Consultative Forum, Godfrey Chiwanda, called for a broader national dialogue to address emerging political challenges and ensure fairness across all parties.
Also recommended a national dialogue, of course, after receiving all complaints here and there. We call upon government to arrange for a national dialogue where all stakeholders can sit around and see what went wrong, what can be discussed, and that can be done after the swearing in of the president, and afterwards we have such.
However, concerns remain over the interpretation and implementation of the amended law, which some stakeholders pointing to inconsistencies between the Electoral Commission and the Ministry of Justice and Constitutional Affairs regarding eligibility for funding.
A resolution has been passed that in extending support to political parties that are represented in Parliament, Electoral Commission should be guided by the law, not an MOU that does not exist within the legal framework.
The National Unity Platform maintains that the current framework, including the memorandum involving the Electoral Commission and Justice Ministry, unfairly locks them out of accessing public funds.
Political parties, regardless of whether they are represented in Parliament or not, should be supported, because these are public entities that should be supported to perform their duties and responsibility. There can be a discussion about the degree of support, but the recommendation and resolution is that they should be supported in running the activities from the state coffers.
The National Consultative Forum insists that supporting political parties financially is key to strengthening multi-party democracy, even as debate continues over inclusivity and fairness in the distribution of public funds. Irene Faith Nantongo, Joseph Muyingo, UBC News.
Now a look at speakership ambitions. The race for Speaker of the Uganda's 12th Parliament is still hot. Bukono constituency Member of Parliament Passes Namganza insists she is firmly still in contention despite reports of endorsement backing in the incumbent leadership. Let's hear more in this report.
For me, I'm still in the race. I am not going to back off. I want to appeal to all Ugandans, talk to your members of parliament.
Calm, yet firm, and often razor sharp in her articulation, Namganza is leaning on both her experience and outspoken style.
Hello.
She argues that Parliament needs a leader who understands its rules, gaps, and its potential.
Mine is transparency, mine is accountability, mine is integrity. We need that house to be revived, to regain its lost glory. Right now, when you enter into that August House, those who have been there in this 11th Parliament, they will tell you they have even not actually discovered that they're in the August House.
Her ambition is driven by what she calls a visible decline in the stature of Parliament, both nationally and internationally.
The decorum of Parliament, which faded away a long time ago, and that's why people no longer follow this 11th Parliament, whether they are doing what someone is like. But we thought those ones are supposed to be closing. So we want to revive that lost glory, and that will be none other than Princess Namuganza Persis.
Often regarded as meticulous on procedural issues, Namuganza argues that her leadership would restore systems many MPs say have faded.
There is no pretense about it. We are in a dilemma. You know, it's unfortunate that the picture of Parliament, of the August House, has faded away.
She positions herself as a defender of legislators, promising a house where voices are heard, not suppressed.
The way they have been mistreated, the way they have been looked at, the way they have been, called or addressed. You, shut up, sit down, you look at you, things of that nature. You cannot, for example, ask those committees of Parliament that how much is your budget, and they'll tell you. There is no transparency at all.
As Uganda edges closer to the inauguration of the 12th Parliament, the speakership context is shaping into a defining test, a test of independence, leadership, and the kind of parliament the country wants. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Well, thank you very much there, Henry. Now, the railway does not only carry people, but it also carries the dream of the nation. Now, more than a century after the first trucks were laid in East Africa, that vision is being reborn, though the standard gauge railway now central to Uganda's economic transformation, as we hear more in this report.
What are we doing as a country to ease trade? Because it will reduce the cost of trade by 40%, especially with the locomotives that are there. It will also
what began in 1888 as a vision by William Mackinnon laid the foundation for the Uganda Railway, opening the region to trade and expansion. Uganda is now upgraded railway to enhance competitiveness and deepen regional trade under frameworks such as the African Continental Free Trade Area.
The standard gauge is a different system from the meter gauge. The meter gauge is the one where the lions ate people. The one which goes, the one which goes in curves and curves and curves.
Yes, yes.
Now the standard gauge, more or less runs on straight alignment.
The standard gauge railway is expected to cut the cost of doing business by up to 40%, improve cargo efficiency, and position Uganda as a regional logistics hub.
The standard gauge railway from Kenya to Uganda, you can imagine we are now exporting around 900 million US dollars to DRC Congo without a trade facilitation like this. You imagine if we had a railway connecting to Kinshasa or Goma, that would be classic.
The 272-kilometer Malaba-Kampala line is projected to cost between 10 and 11 trillion with completion targeted for 2028. The investment is expected to create jobs, support industrial parks, and unlock value chains across the key sectors.
It will run at 120 kilometers per hour when you are taking cargo compared to 35 kilometers this crawling meter gauge rail. For the cargo, it will be 100 and maybe 26, 25.
President Yoweri Museveni and William Samuel Ruto recently launched the Kisumu-Malaba extension, reinforcing regional integration and cross-border connectivity.
So the standard gauge railway is an important trade facilitation for us, and it's welcome. We want to congratulate and thank His Excellency President Museveni and President Ruto upon the launch of this leg of the standard gauge railway, and also to assure, it gives confidence to our industrialists, gives confidence to our traders that actually the cost of transport is coming down.
To be constructed by Yapi Makezi, the railway will link Uganda to Kenya at Malaba, reaching Kampala by 2028 before extension to Kasese.
Which is going to do the standard gauge railway, 272 kilometers from Maraba to Kampala. Everything is more or less done. They are now setting up their camps. They are constructing the slipper factory, the cement slipper factory, because the slippers on the standard gauge are cement, not the steel ones.
During a recent Behind the Headlines, the premium Uganda Broadcasting Corporation talk show that airs every Wednesday at 10 p.m. and remains a crowd puller, stakeholders examined opportunities and risks, including financing, transparency, and inclusivity.
But, you know, one of the things that the standard gauge railway is going to resolve is the cost of transport, which is the cost of doing business.
Panelists concurred that the project's success will depend on strong governance, coordination, and disciplined execution aligned to national priorities.
Because standard gauge railway has been talked about for over a decade. I think it's included in all the 4 development plans.
The fear that Kenya will not connect is out. So Kenya is connecting. We shall connect. President Ruto in his speech said, the naysayers, those doubting Thomases, who have been doubting us, now they can sleep.
Habimana Deo compiled this story.
This will actually increase our expo.
Now, the head of State House Local Content Unit and Special Presidential Advisor on Local Content, Hajat Amina Mokalazi, Friday handed over 50 motorcycles to 4 groups of the National Resistance Movement mobilizers in Kampala on behalf of His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
Take this opportunity hand over these bikes, all of them.
While officiating at the handover ceremony, Hajat Mukalazi urged the beneficiaries to use the motorcycles responsibly to strengthen party structures and effectively reach communities.
The basis of this function was to hand over the bikes to the few groups, 4 or 5 groups, RRU, Tonta, Nabugerere, and NRM High Command. And all the other groups will also get, because all the groups that we moved with, they know they start with the president and they know what the president said that they would appreciate them with. So we are moving one step at a time. This is just the beginning. We thank all the groups that are also not part of this forum for supporting the NRM government, for supporting the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, and for loving this country.
Hajat Mukalazi appreciated the role of local content in national development, noting that such initiatives help promote Ugandan businesses and create opportunities for the citizens.
It has only Ugandans. I only saw the managing director who is not a Ugandan, and I'm so happy about what they do here as a pillar of local content. They are really spearheading the local content matter by only employing Ugandans, having them trained, transferring the skills from the Chinese who come here occasionally to train the locals here, and then the knowledge transfer stays here. There is value addition. They've also said they are going to set up a manufacturing plant here so that they desist from assembling, which I'm so happy about, and I'm sure government is also happy about this.
Thank the President for this initiative. And for us here, we employ more than 250, all Ugandans, because we believe Ugandans, they have talent.
She also issued a stern warning against corruption, cautioning beneficiaries not to misuse or divert the motorcycles to personal use.
I am making an alarm for all Ugandans to wake up. Wake up, wake up, wake up. Let us fight corruption. We are the first soldiers on ground to fight corruption. Let's not overwhelm the president with issues of corruption. And the president told you on the Yoga Yoga function that whoever finds an anomaly in government projects or people who are selling jobs for government should run to our office, and our office is open to listen to you. We are working with anti-corruption under State House and all the other corruption agencies. It is an integration, and we are coordinating together this matter of corruption.
Some of the beneficiaries also expressed gratitude to State House, describing the motorcycles as timely support that will greatly improve their work. The initiative is part of the broader efforts by State House to empower grassroots mobilizers, strengthen service delivery, and promote local content across communities.
The National Resistance Movement Parliamentary Caucus has today resolved to support the government's budget priorities for financial year 2026-2027 and to back the passage of the proposed Protection of Sovereignty Bill 2025 following the guidance from His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
First of all, I want to thank all of you for the wonderful work you did during the recent elections. This victory was a victory for all of us, for everybody who participated. This issue of budgeting is not easy because people really get confused. That's why you find that some individuals are not able to manage in life because they are not able to prioritize among priorities. The strategy of how you budget is very crucial. Now, because of those mistakes, we started getting into crisis. By 2005, plus other mistakes, like when the Mugisha Muntu and others blocked my plan of Bujagari. I had negotiated a very good agreement for Bujagari. They blocked it in Parliament. So we didn't have enough electricity. The only electricity we had was the one we had repaired of Owen Falls Dam. The economy was growing, electricity was not growing, electricity supply. So in 2005, we had a crisis of load shedding, you remember. This time I called Parliament in the Statistics House and also Cabinet. I said, please now, I demand that we prioritize the roads and electricity. And the reason I did that was because, and I would want to persuade all of you, that whatever you do, can you identify the factors, the core factors that primarily cause the economy to grow? As I was telling some people a little while ago, there are four things. First of all, peace in the country. Maybe 5. First of all, peace in the country. You must have peace in the country. So that's why we always prioritize the army. Even if we don't have enough money, let's fund the army to be able to defend us. Because without peace, what can you do? Secondly, the policy of wealth creation. The third one are the wealth creators. Who are the wealth creators? the ones who expand the wealth of the country. It is first of all the farmers who grow crops, rear livestock. Secondly, the manufacturers. And thirdly, the hotel people, to some sections of services. If you have those five, you have peace, you have policy, there's also infrastructure. Infrastructure is very crucial because how will the factories work if they don't have electricity?
Now, State Minister for Works, Misuse Act, together with other officials from the ministry, have concluded the ministerial road inspection in Eastern and Karamoja sub-regions.
The list of ministerial road inspection by the State Minister for Works, Misuse Act, started with the 92-kilometer Muyembe-Nakapiriperiti and 25-kilometer secondary link roads that are under Polato contractors funded by the Islamic Development Bank and Uganda government. The project commenced on 30th March 2020 and was expected to be completed on 30th March 2023. However, it was extended due to unforeseen factors.
These people are supposed to be continuing to work, but there are external challenges that they face. You know that some parts of the world, there is a bit of war right now, some parts of the world. Now, those parts of the world, some of them have been sources of some raw materials. Now, when that happens, it affects the source of raw material, and the company now has again to go for Plan B.
Minister Churu also inspected various bridges in Bulambuli that are under construction. Minister Churu was told by some residents affected by the road projects that they haven't been compensated as yet.
The mother we met at the junction was not very comfortable. Actually, she appeared frustrated. Why? Because she thinks government may promise her that she will be compensated, and then after doing the road through her garden, then she will not be compensated. And talk to her to let her know that we don't promise air. Government is a very, very committed government.
The RDCs of Nakapiriperiti and Kwen districts commended the NRM government, led by the President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, for its efforts in improving road connectivity countrywide.
This road is economically viable in a sense that it connects us to the Kenyan side.
Working on this road, I was here, you know how it was, very bad. It will take almost 5 hours from here up to Kwen, the other side. But they have done a credible job.
Afterwards, the minister and his team proceeded with inspection at multi-billion 42-kilometer Moroto-Lokitanyala road project. The purely Uganda government-funded road constructed by China Railway Engineering Group Limited links Uganda to Kenya. Minister Churu says this road extending to the border was an idea of Presidents Museveni and Ruto, as it acts as a catalyst of integration for both countries.
But in the wisdom of the President, working with His Excellency Ruto, they agreed that a road like this, instead of you stopping there, you brought the road here to meet the road that is coming from, a place called Makutano, now going to Lodwar. We would have had a beautiful road going from Kitale, Makutano to Lodwar, and a beautiful road coming from Moroto and stopping at nowhere.
Churu and officials from the ministry concluded the 2-day ministerial road inspection at Katikikere Bridge, where he appealed all road users in the visited areas to cooperate with contractors for smooth work progress.
And on a sad note, Uganda Broadcasting Corporation, UBC, is mourning one of its own, Prisca Kibirango, who succumbed to hypertension early this week. Now, UBC fraternity eulogized the late as someone who was professional, jolly, and dedicated to her work on UBC Red Channel on the Family Radio Show program.
Muntu mulungi eva ina smile muntu kangambe kibogera bulijjo nti omuntu atazikibwawo. Prisca is one of those people. Abadde muntu mulungi tanyiga ne bamati nomufunye obutakanya ekyajja kumawo ng'asa agambe habati nsonyi walo tajja bwekiti naye namugamba Prisca sobola kunyigira biki naye tukolenga emirimu gyaffe nga bwe tukola gamba tufiiridwa Prisca kyensa Mukama Katonda nti amusonyi busonyi byonna ebyamusobako kuba
one kind of person who loved everyone. At some point, you'd find her seated either in production studio, and she would never hesitate to say a hello. Whether she knew you or not, Prisca will dearly be missed.
She would find you on the seat outside and they say hi to you, or maybe if you're eating, she would like, yeah, let me eat some. Or if you're talking about going out, she'll be like, hey, iwe mshawe, please, mujende out, muze kutemaka dance.
She served at the Broadcasting Corporation of Uganda, and we sincerely appreciate her service. Those of us who are into leadership, we appreciate the services indeed that she did deliver for the country.
Condition of high blood pressure, but in that moment she got a spike of her blood pressure, and that's what caused her death. Prisca, you are dearly loved, you are dearly treasured. We hold on to the sweet memories. We love the children, Purity and Philip, and we pray for Peter. Rest in peace, Prisca.
Thank you very much, Doctor.
We condole with the family, Mr. Kibirango, and the young family, young children, but we place everything in God's hands. We know that God will take care of them, and they will rest Mrs. Kibirango in eternity. We thank her for the dedication she gave to the country, serving at UBC West, our Western radio, based in Imbarara. She was part of the unsung heroes that started up that station once we transferred it from Kampala to Western Uganda in Imbarara. So I want to thank the family for the time they offered her to us and her service to the nation. So rest in peace, Prisca, and God bless the family.
That has been put unto your feet to serve the purpose. This we pray through Jesus Christ, our Lord. Amen. Before I say,
may her soul rest in eternal peace. Now, moving ahead, Uganda's efforts to grow artificial intelligence research are facing setbacks due to the funding gaps, limited infrastructure, and weak policy frameworks, and plus inadequate access to local data. Now, researchers warn that these challenges are showing innovation and undermine the country's ability to compete with the leading AI hubs on the continent.
Experts in artificial intelligence and technology caution that Uganda risks falling behind in the global digital transformation unless urgent investments are made in research, training, and innovation systems. They note that while countries such as South Africa, Nigeria, and Kenya have made significant strides in AI research and development, Uganda is yet to fully tap into its potential. Across Africa, artificial intelligence is increasingly being applied in sectors such as agriculture, health, education, finance, and climate monitoring.
Uganda has not yet released a strategy or an AI policy that guides researchers on how we need to collect data, how we need to pre-process this data.
During the 7th Annual Deep Learning Indaba X conference, experts called on government and academic institutions to establish clear policy frameworks, invest in AI education, and support local innovators developing homegrown solutions. They emphasized the need to strengthen capacity building, noting that many young researchers and developers still lack access to advanced training, computing resources, and research funding needed to scale AI projects.
Statistics that shows how much African countries are investing in the AI research. More or less, you'll find that there's no budget that is being allocated in the AI space, and that lags behind the kind of research that we tend to conduct.
You'd find that the resources that they need is majorly compute. Yeah. So compute, which would probably require them to pay $20 per month. But if we are looking at a student who probably does not have that money, at the end of the day, they are not able to participate. They are not able to do the research.
Researchers also stressed the importance of developing locally relevant data sets and promoting responsible AI systems that address Africa's unique challenges as a pathway to accelerating adoption across the continent.
And so you'd find that because of the sensitivity of some of the data that we are interacting with, so probably there are certain ethical considerations that have been put in place, but also at the same time that limit the researchers from accessing this data set that they need to build the model.
We try to be on the ground as policymakers and depart from the social needs.
The 7th Annual Deep Planning Indaba X 2026 conference, held under the theme Responsible AI Ecosystem for Sustainable Innovation, brought together researchers, developers, students, and policymakers. Rebecca Nantongo, Susan Nabugude for UBC News.
Well, thank you both. Now, as we step into digital scaling, career opportunities in Uganda's digital economy are expanding with a focus on empowering young women. The 2026 expo, organized by Refactory, aims to impact over 60,000 young women and create more than 46,000 job opportunities over the next 3 years.
The Career Expo 2026 gathered employers, innovators, and thousands of young people seeking opportunities in the global tech space. Participants, equipped with advanced digital skills, were connected to dignified work in the growing global digital economy.
As of last night, we had over 60 companies that had expressed interest to come and participate and have conversations with potential talent. But we had also had about 120 who had been shortlisted for interviews. And for me, this is huge because these events, for the sake of talking to people, no longer make a lot of sense. We need to be very intentional. So our end in mind is that even if employers do not hire today, they will live with a short list of people that they will have further conversations on.
A major highlight of the event was the launch of the Refactory's Digital Job Board, a platform designed to connect trained talent to international job opportunities by aggregating tech roles from across the world.
We've been able to put together a platform that is curating or collecting work opportunities that have a digital aspect. And we are now focusing on majorly 6 countries: Egypt, South Africa, Nigeria, Kenya, UK, and very soon we'll add on United Arab Emirates. And the reason is that there are lots of opportunities.
The initiative places strong emphasis on inclusion, with 70% female participation, as well as opportunities for refugees and persons with disabilities.
Is to support 34,000 young women by next year to have access to work opportunities that are enabled by the digital economy. And how are we going to achieve that? We shall achieve that by supporting young women running small businesses to better use digital tools and digital platforms that can include social commerce platforms like WhatsApp or TikTok for business.
Through partnerships under the 10X program, thousands of young people are being trained in field skills like software development, cybersecurity, and data engineering. However, challenges such as limited access to devices and internet connectivity hinder the program's expansion agenda.
And our primary goal is that once we've skilled them, we also help them find work. And what you see here today, which is the Career Expo, is one of those interventions where we've brought together over 50 recruiters to engage with our participants who have been skilled and place them into work.
Mary Namkose, UBC News.
The Madivani Foundation has unveiled plans to support eligible, bright and disadvantaged learners through the award of scholarships. This announcement was made at the foundation's office in industrial area, where officials revealed an investment of about 750 million shillings towards merit-based university scholarships for the year 2026-2027 academic year.
For years, the Madivani Foundation has contributed to Uganda's development by supporting sectors such as education and health, with a strong emphasis on uplifting disadvantaged and marginalized communities. While launching the Mulijibai Madivani Foundation Scholarship for the year 2026-2027 academic year, the foundation reaffirmed its commitment to supporting Ugandan students, pursuing both undergraduate and postgraduate programs across a wide range of disciplines.
For more than 2 decades, the Mulijibai Madivani Foundation has worked to expand access to higher education for talented Ugandans. And indeed, these scholarships come out during the 2nd year because we have to have proof that you have been admitted to university and you're a student at university.
The foundation also highlighted its vision to expand scholarship opportunities into emerging fields such as technology, artificial intelligence, and climate science.
Over the years, thousands of students have been supported through this initiative, many of whom have gone on to become doctors, engineers, entrepreneurs, academics, public servants, who are contributing meaningfully to the progress of our country.
With a lot of excitement deep in my heart, expressing gratitude to Madivani Foundation Scholarship.
I'm here to encourage everyone out there to apply. As my other colleagues said, this scholarship is very transparent.
Body Chairman Gerard Sendaula emphasized the importance of ensuring access and promoting competence among students from disadvantaged backgrounds.
All of these people, whether you are looking at disadvantaged or non-disadvantaged, but the committee, when the committee sit, they certainly review case by case, find out exactly whether this is a deserving case or it is not. Because you are not going to meet, for example, and say Sendaula's son competing out with another fellow who has not had the fortune at the level of Sendaula. When the other fellow qualifies and this one qualifies, I think the preference is automatic and it comes from the committee that they look at a disadvantaged person.
Madivani Foundation projects a continued investment of Ugandan shillings 750 million in merit-based university scholarships for the 26-2027 cycle, under the theme Torch of Legacy, marking a sustained commitment compared to previous years. Amwai Vanjuko for UBC.
Wobango saba katonda ne momo gisabiranga kubanga etwadde vani enyiriro kuzama lucky hey lucky
We sat down and asked, what more can we do for the guardians, the parents who take time to pay school fees? Why don't we give them a van? So I officially hand over the keys to this school van to Lucky Kids Academy. We are grateful for everything that you've done for Mama.
We are just lucky, wallahi. We thank you so much for this hand that you've given us, you've stretched towards Lucky Kids and the rest of the schools.
There you go, Lucky Kids Academy here in Bweyogere, winning the first.
Boate 2026 will take place from the 21st to the 23rd of May 2026 at the Speak Resort Convention Center, Munyonyo, under the theme Wanderlust. It's your time to thrive. Yes, it's your time to tap into Uganda's renewed optimism and tourism growth. Tourism stakeholders, travel trade partners, and tourism enthusiasts will be part of the Poate 2026. Come and network with like-minded people and unlock new business opportunities. To participate, register at www.poate.co.ug. Poate 2026 is brought to you by Uganda Tourism Board and partners.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Are you looking for a home away from home? Then this is the place for you. My name is Chini Kaji, and welcome to Hotel Le Confidential. With 84 comfortable rooms where you can relax and feel safe. Each room has a lovely view of green vegetation, Wi-Fi, air conditioning, and a tasty breakfast.
Children can have fun at our kids' water park and our kids' play area. You can also enjoy our world-class health club, spa, sauna, gym, boutique, and sky blue swimming pool.
Thank you for choosing Hotel Le Confidential, where every stay is unforgettable. Come and stay in comfort, right at home, today, tomorrow, and always.
And into the world of business, a long-abandoned irrigation scheme in Lirad district is coming back to life, bringing renewed hope to farmers who had nearly given up on rice growing. Olwenye irrigation scheme, which lay dormant for over 2 decades, is now under rehabilitation as part of a multi-million-dollar rice project aimed at transforming livelihoods in the Lango sub-region.
For over 20 years, the fields of Oreng told a story of neglect, cracked earth, broken canals, and silence where water once flowed.
These little areas still doesn't have the irrigation system.
Today, that silence is being replaced by a hum of activity. Farmers are back, tools in hand, clearing channels and preparing their land once again.
I'll join other people in thanking the Korean government for the support which they are giving to the farmers.
The revival follows a partnership between local farmers under the ITEC Okile Cooperative Society and the Korea Partnership for Innovation in Agriculture.
We had a MOU signed on the 3rd of September last year, that's 2025. The MOU spells the roles of the cooperative and that of COPIA.
The agreement has given rise to a multi-million-dollar rice project targeting more than 200 farmers across the region.
People have been planting grains, but now with this one, from COPIA, we are good to go.
What we expect from this project, one, is to improve our productivity here in Olwenye irrigation scheme.
Farmers are receiving rice seeds, fertilizers and training in modern farming methods inspired by Korean agricultural technology.
We prepared and donate 5 tons of aromatic foundation seed and 11 tons fertilizers. And the other thing, we also provide Korean style transplanting line. And also we gave them the field signpost.
One key change is in planting methods. Traditionally broadcast by hand, farmers are now learning to plant rice in straight lines, a technique proven to increase yields.
It becomes easier for a farmer to remove weeds. The spread of disease is very minimal when you are transplanting in line.
For many, this is their first exposure to such techniques, skills they hope will translate into better harvests and higher incomes.
We have been broadcasting our rice, and weeding, harvesting is a big problem. It's a very big challenge. But with the copier method that they're bringing and the line, whatever they're teaching us, it is going to be wonderful.
However, challenges remain. Recent floods have already affected parts of the scheme, raising concerns about sustainability.
So we were affected by floods, but we have not given up. We have identified even other fields where we can do production of what is called foundation seed.
Farmers are now calling on government to provide critical equipment to ensure long-term success.
So we are calling upon, requesting His Excellency and also the Minister of Water to release the excavator to help us desilt the scheme.
Local leaders have welcomed the initiative, describing it as a long overdue step toward revitalizing agriculture in the Langos sub-region.
The production has been low. The farmers have been complaining of no.
So, Muchala.
Yes, Daddy.
You know the children are going back to school and things are a bit tight. Huh? For now, why don't you take half of the fees to junior school, and for the school van contribution, we shall pay later. Huh?
Daddy, why don't we pay using MTN Momo, where we stand a chance of winning school fees for a whole year and more? By the way, you can also apply for a school fees loan, and also participating schools can win a school van.
That's right! Win school fees for a whole year and more. Get Momo goodies and a school van for participating schools. You can also apply for a school fees loan. Simply dial *165 *80# or use the Momo app.
All right, listen up. Colgate is on a mission.
It's kind of a big thing.
Colgate Herbal uses traditional nature's herbs and combines it with Colgate Science for healthy gums and strong teeth.
New Colgate Herbal with Salt combines traditional nature's herbs with a pinch of salt and Colgate Science. A natural recipe for strong teeth and healthy gums.
Before we sign out, let's step into the world of sport, where with 3 months to the FIFA World Cup, Nile Breweries is taking football lovers to watch the World Cup live, as we hear more from Emon Ngabo.
And in 2022, the world champions.
A lot of Ugandans find it difficult to access tickets to such events, either because of visa issues or because of it could even just be money. Yeah. So because of that passion that Ugandans have with football, we are saying, why don't we make access to the World Cup easy for them? Because everybody, this is the biggest televised show on the planet. This is the biggest show ever, the World Cup. So why don't we create an experience for the consumers to go to the World Cup, since we already know that everybody loves football?
Because it's in our view, it's the most exciting moment, especially this year, and especially for Nile Breweries, given the moment that we are in building up to the FIFA World Cup. So as an announcement, the announcement being that Nile Special is the official sponsor of the FIFA World Cup 2026. It was important, one, to make that announcement, but also to make the announcement that we are giving an opportunity to Ugandans to go and experience the FIFA World Cup in the USA, and as well as communicate how it is that we are going to enable that process. So that is exactly why we've done this. I'm quite happy that you were able to make it, because we alone cannot drive that messaging. It's a perfect platform, and nothing unites people more so like sports. And this is one big platform that is going to help us bring people together and ensure that Nile thrives, because that's its natural environment.
Thank you.
Well, football lovers, I guess they have you right at the hand. My name is Patricia Lukoma. Let's plan to meet at 10 o'clock. Stay with us.
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Yes, a very good evening to you tuned into UBC TV. We thank you so much for following all our work, news, programs, and all the productions. Welcome to this week's edition of One-on-One with Michael Jordan Lukoma, where we discuss variety. But the target is to touch your family, community, and the beautiful Pearl of Africa, Uganda. Now, we just had an election a few months